Welcome to the Daily MBA, where business wisdom is served fresh and fast, straight from one of the top MBA programs in the world. I'll give you summaries of my lectures and readings, as well as the most important insights gained from an MBA, so you can apply all of this knowledge in every business. Let's get started.
Last time, we were studying the 3 C's and also the STP framework, and we already did an environmental analysis and the value creation part of our product. But today we're going to be focusing solely on product because I'm going to start developing what is called the 4P framework. So those are going to be product, price, place, and promotion. But I'm going to dedicate a specific episode just for product because it is very important and we have lots of things to cover, such as ways to do product development, new product adoption, and the product line extensions. So let's get started. The first thing that you need to know is that there are 3 ways of developing new products. You may have the orthodox way, the incorrect way, and the alternative practical way. So the orthodox way would be doing it how it should be done. So basically doing all of the analysis that we've been talking about first, knowing what your customers really need, what is there in the market, what there is not, and once you find that gap and you make sure that customers are really needing that, then you're going to build a product that's only going to be for them. This is called the orthodox way because it's the old traditional way and it's how things should be done. But most of the times, what happens, it isn't the case, right? Things are not going to be that simple just because today everything is moving so fast that people like having something. So next second best thing that you could do would be doing the alternative practical way. With the alternative practical way, what you would be doing is that you have a version of the product that you want and you get it out and test it in the market as fast as possible. Once you have it out and you're testing it, you're going to start modifying it also based on what consumers are valuing, what they need, what customers are doing for reacting to this new product. And this is going to be usually very popular among Silicon Valley companies or different places where you're moving fast and you're adapting fast. So the alternative practical way is the second best thing that you could do. It's not as rigorous, but it's going to be having some type of prototype, getting it out there, and modifying it once it starts getting feedback from customers, markets, and everyone else involved. Now, the way that you would like to avoid would be the incorrect way, where you just want to build your own product and then push it into the market. Because this, I'm sure that if you've been listening to my previous episodes, you would know it's fully incorrect because you would be having a bit of marketing myopia. You only want to do your product and sell it to people instead of knowing if people are really going to be valuing that, if you're doing it better or worse than competitors, and if it's really needed. So this is going to be the incorrect way. You don't want to do this. What you would like to do, if you can't do the rigorous, it's at least start modifying the product once you have it. Now, once you have your product already, you want people to start adopting it, obviously. But if it's a new product, you may have some challenges along the way. So there are going to be factors that will influence the likelihood, the rate, and the scope of adoption or diffusion of any type of product, especially when considering the customer's view. What can you do about that? Well, in marketing, there are frameworks for everything. And this one is not the exception. There is one model that's going to be for new product adoption, and it's called Accord. And this one, as usual, it's going to be using all of the letters that we need to remember about this model. There are going to be 6 parts: advantage, complexity, compatibility, observability, risk, and divisibility. So let's start understanding each of these different parts in better detail. First thing is advantage. And so, of course, this one's going to be the easiest to do initially, because if your product has a superior advantage over competitors, then it's going to be easily adopted by people. This one, there's not a lot of science on it. Second thing would be complexity. And what does this mean? Products that are simple to use are of course adopted more than products that are going to be complex, just because people don't like complexity and stuff. If it already involves lots of knowledge or it takes lots of time to getting to understand that product, is not going to be easily adopted by people. So what you want to do as a product developer or as a product manager would be lowering the complexity so your customers can better understand and better use your product. Third component would be compatibility. And this is going to be related to the current habits that your customers may have. If your product is not compatible with the current behaviors, then it's going to be very hard getting to this adoption or diffusion of the product, because we want to sell things to our customers that will benefit them, but also that they're going to be able to easily incorporate in their routines. If it's not compatible, then you're going to find a barrier over there. So try doing things compatible to the current behaviors that your customers are having. The fourth one after the ACC would be O, and this one is going to be observability. So with observability, what you want to try and do is make your product benefits as salient as possible. You want people to look in your product and already know what benefit they're going to be getting. Because chances are, if they're looking at it and they can't observe the value that it will bring them, it won't be easily adopted, or at least it won't be easily adopted fast. And that's what you want to do. So if you can't show any advantage initially, this is going to cause lower observability, and it's going to be one of the barriers to diffusion. The fifth thing would be risk. And risk is going to involve, of course, all of the possible risks that may be associated with getting your product. You want to usually minimize any type of risk that your customer is going to be incurring in by using your product or service. And the last one is called divisibility. And this one may sound weird initially, but divisibility is going to be explaining that if your product can be divisible into many different parts, and smaller parts ideally, it's going to be adopted more easily. And what do I mean by this? So let's imagine, for example, the first time that Apple allowed you to buy only one song, not the entire CD. This was the perfect example of divisibility, because you were only able to get whatever you wanted, that little piece, and you wouldn't have to buy the entire CD just to listen to the song that you liked. So this was an initial example of divisibility. But if we look at today, maybe you can look for ways where you can give a little bit of your product to the customer so he or she can try it out and be certain that it's going to be good, it's going to be working for them, and then decides to buy even more. One thing that we may find very commonly around divisibility will be the freemiums or the free trials. These are going to be encouraging product adoption because they are a way of having the product visible for people, allowing them to have a little try, and then also encouraging them to get the full thing. The last thing I want to cover in my episode would be the product line extension, and product lines are going to be all of these different products that are owned by the company in the same category. So usually the product line products are going to be differentiated along two dimensions, horizontal or vertical. I was talking a little bit about this horizontal and vertical differentiation in my strategy episodes, but I'll explain it again over here in case you've forgotten about it. So horizontal differentiation is going to be differences in basically small things. So differences in colors, or differences in tastes, or differences in the product perception. But it's all going to be in the similar price range. So examples might be, for example, in the Apple Watch, all of the possible things that you can buy. You can buy the pink one, you can buy the blue one, you can buy the gray one. All of these different types of colors, they're going to be costing the same, but they are different. And by doing this horizontal differentiation, you're actually targeting different segments. Similar thing would be Coca-Cola. They have Coca-Cola Zero, Coca-Cola Light, Coca-Cola Cherry, or stuff like that. So this is going to be almost the same product. It costs the same, but it's going to have a small differentiation. All of this would be horizontal differentiation. But now, if we would do a vertical differentiation, this is going to be when a product is differentiated with the quality, and therefore it's going to have also a difference in price, because the product with higher perceived quality is of course going to be more pricey, and so this is going to provide more benefits to people. Usually where we can see these types of vertical differentiations, it's mostly going to be around cars, but you can think, for example, also in hotels. The Marriott Group is going to be owning the same type of hotels that they're offering low cost, while a Ritz, so they are going to have this product line extension where they can give this product that's more luxury product to a specific type of people that value higher quality, but then they can also give lower choices to people who don't get this quality. And so the only thing that you should consider when doing product line extensions would be, how are you going to be presenting this product? Do you want it to have the same brand name, or do you want to use a different brand name? Do you want to do it along the horizontal axis or along the vertical axis? All of those are going to be different things that you should consider, and the different branding may be useful when you want to offer different value drivers. So wrapping it up in today's product episode, there are 3 ways of creating new products: the orthodox way, the alternative practical way, and the incorrect way. You want to try at all costs avoiding the incorrect way. Then I also presented to you a framework for product adoption, which is called ACCORD, ACCORD. And this one is going to help you get the diffusion of your product out there. The last thing that we talked about was product line extensions and how horizontal differentiation is going to be different from vertical differentiation. In my next episode, I'm going to take a deeper dive into pricing so we can know, once you have your product, how to price it right. I'll see you next week, and make sure to leave a review if you like the content that I'm creating.